Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Real Time, where we talk about the movies we like.
And the ones we don't.
I'm Tyler,
And I'm Molly.
and today on our next step of looking at Halloween movies for Halloween, this Halloween season, we are going to be looking at the next step of our four monsters, and we're going to be looking at their hammer incarnations.
Yes, I was pretty excited because I haven't seen a lot of these. So they're a little bit lesser known than the original movies. So, yeah, it was quite fun.
We are going to be looking at four different movies for four different monsters once again. Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and the Mummy. If there were a Creature from the Black Lagoon movie, then we would be including him too, but that is unfortunately not the case. Same thing with the Invisible Man too. I guess Hammer ain't never do nothing with him. I can do grammar real good, can't I?
Yes, you are so good at speaking. It's crazy.
Now, the Invisible Man did get a 90s version, Hollow Man, and a version from just a few years ago, The Invisible Man. I have not seen either of those, though. And like we said, no Hammer version means he can't join the team this time around.
Yep, unfortunately, it's Hammer only.
And one thing we need to make clear, we're not doing any sequels, so no none of the Dracula sequels, none of the Frankenstein sequels, none of the Mummy sequels will be under consideration at any point, although we may talk about them a little bit when it becomes relevant.
Yep, sounds good.
We probably should have made that clear in the first video, or maybe we did. I don't know, man.
It's okay. It's fine. We are just, we always wing it, so,
Okay, so this first movie today we're going to be talking about is called Horror of Dracula, or at least that's what it's called in the U.S. Over in the U.K., apparently it's just called Dracula.
Do you know why?
We always got to change the titles of movies coming into the U.S. It's just how it is.
Yeah, I guess makes it more appealing to silly Americans.
It does provide what's the word I'm looking for?
I have no idea.
More
Perspective?
No, provides a more unique name.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas, if you're just watching a movie called Dracula, well, which one?
Yeah, if it's titled Dracula, you kind of know what to expect when going in. But if it has a different title, you're like, okay, this isn't just a regular Dracula. This is, it has a little twist to it.
There's something different.
Yeah.
Which kind of helps with Bram Stoker's Dracula because it has the author's name in the title.
Mm-hmm.
Or,
same with like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Or just other things too.
Yeah. All right. So
this movie was directed by Terrance Fisher.
We're starting. Oh yeah, Horror of Dracula, right? Yep.
Yeah, I already said that. What did you think the whole Dracula title situation was?
I just wasn't paying attention.
I could see that.
All right.
Cutie.
Thank you. Who stars in this movie?
Starring in this movie is Peter Cushing as Dr. Van Helsing and Christopher Lee as Count Dracula. Now, before we go any further into the rest of these movies, I just want to say I love the pairing of Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee in movies.
Yeah, they're a classic duo. Always fun to watch.
And the fact that they were best friends in real life, too, really shows on screen because they have fantastic chemistry together.
Yeah, that's one of the things that makes it so interesting to see is, they're always going to play off well with each other, and it's just always a fun time.
Now, I haven't seen every movie that they've been in together. Mostly their Hammer and horror stuff, like these. A couple of the other movies we're going to be watching. Mm-hmm. Some of the sequels to the Dracula movies. And, of course, House of the Long Shadows, which also featured Vincent Price and John Carradine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was cool that they were all together. I have mixed feelings about that movie, though. Maybe we can cover it some other time.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The lead, Desi Arnaz Jr., is
Not the best actor. He's pretty crap.
well, it's not even that his acting is bad. I just didn't really care about his character.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I was there because I saw, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Vincent Price on the cover. John Carradine too. Don't want to leave him out.
Yeah.
These are amazing classic horror actors, and for some of them, this was some of the last projects they would work on.
Yeah. I love them all. I like Vincent Price a whole lot. I wish he was in some of these movies, but unfortunately, no.
Well, he did do an awful lot of Poe adaptations. He was a very, I guess he really liked Poe.
Yeah. He's in a lot of the more of the weird ones, I'd say. Yeah, I think we should cover some of his movies in the future.
Perhaps we will, but we need to get back
Yeah,
to.
we're on track.
Let's get back to Cushing and Lee, because I have some more stuff I want to say on them, because why not? They would go out and watch like Looney Tunes movie serials, like cartoon serials in the theater, and they would get thrown out for laughing too hard.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun time.
And both of them and Vincent Price had birthdays around the same time. In fact, Price and Lee had the same birthday. Cushing's was the day before and like a decade before Lee. So, when they could, they would all celebrate their birthday at the same time.
That would be a party I would want to be at.
Also starring in this movie is Michael Gough as Arthur Holmwood. Michael Gough, for many of you, is best known for playing Alfred Pennyworth in the Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher Batman movies.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't recognize him.
Well, he was considerably younger in this.
Yeah, that's fair, yeah.
Melissa Stribling plays Mina Holmwood, the wife of Arthur in this version of Dracula. We'll get into the differences between the books and this movie soonish. Carol Marsh plays Lucy Holmwood in this. She's playing Arthur's sister. And John Van Eysen plays Jonathan Harker. Yeah, not much to say about there. It's just Jonathan Harker.
Yeah.
So, in this version of Dracula, it is Jonathan going to Dracula's castle to begin with, but he's not going to sell him property at Carfax Abbey. He's there to be Dracula's librarian, which is a little weird, but whatever. Mm-hmm. But no, he's not actually there to do that. He's actually there to kill Dracula. Mm-hmm. Because he knows from the start that he's a vampire.
Yeah, that's much different than the first, or the original Dracula movie.
But a couple questions here, first of all. So if Jonathan knows that Dracula is a vampire to start with, why did he not, A, hang a whole bunch of crucifixes around his castle, B, bless the place with holy water, C, try to find Dracula's coffin so he could stake him during the daytime, or D, all of the above? Why didn't he do any of that? This man does absolutely nothing to prepare for Dracula's inevitable appearance.
Yeah, looking back, while watching this, I didn't really realize that, but looking back, yeah, he knows he's a vampire, but yet he is, hasn't prepared for anything. And even when he does find their coffins, he goes after that lady first instead of taking Dracula out first.
Oh yeah, there's a lady vampire there that he gets distracted by because Booba.
I guess so.
And he decides to kill her first, even though he has to pass by Dracula's coffin in order to get to her. And that's kind of silly, I think.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought, why would you just focus on the bigger threat, which is Dracula, and then go after the lesser threats while they're sleeping.
Plus, if you killed Dracula, who I'm assuming is the head vampire in this situation,
Yeah.
all the people that he turned into vampires would turn back into human. So
Yeah.
you really should have gotten him first.
Yeah, Jonathan was not prepared for this situation at all.
Yeah, this version of Jonathan's a real silly guy.
Mm-hmm. He is.
Anyway, so in this version, Jonathan is married to Lucy, and Mina is married to Arthur, whereas in the book, it's the opposite. Why they changed that, I don't know.
No idea.
Bit unclear, but neither character really do much in this movie, so I guess it's a moot point. Does it matter in this context? Not really. You know, for that matter, there's a few characters that they left out. Like, sure, Dr. Seward is in here, but he's kind of a walk-on role. You know, he shows up for one scene, treats Lucy, and then bounces.
Yeah. Not a lot of big parts.
Quincy Morris is left out of it, which he was left out of the 1931 version, so that's a shame. He's a really cool guy. And then Renfield isn't in this either. But, Seward is barely in it, so I guess that means no Renfield either, which, again, that's a shame.
Yeah.
So, what is this movie taking from the book? Well, like the stuff we said, Jonathan's going to Dracula's castle. There is a point made that Dracula does not have any transformations. Like, Van Helsing says, oh yeah, no, that's a myth. Which is weird, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I don't know why he would say that. I don't know, I guess they just didn't want to mess with it in the movie.
They take the basic structure of the book and do what they want, kind of, because Dracula isn't even killed the same way he was in the book in this one, which he wasn't in the 1931 version either. In that one, he was staked. In this one, he gets destroyed by sunlight, which in the book he was able to walk around in sunlight, just no problem.
I didn't know that.
Well, vampires being weak to sunlight that wasn't really a thing until the movie Nosferatu.
Okay.
So yeah, that's another thing that movie just made up and is now like a common part of the vampire mythos now.
Yeah, that's funny.
But despite all of my problems with this movie, I really like it.
Yeah, it's all right. It was pretty fun.
I definitely like this more than the 1931 version. Now, as for who played Dracula better, it's kind of hard. What do you think?
Although I like Christopher Lee, I would go with Bela Lugosi, but that might just be because he's the classic one. When I think Dracula, I think him. So, yeah, gotta go with Bela Lugosi.
On some days, I prefer Lugosi. On others, I prefer Lee. It's a Lee day today.
Yeah.
He just has I feel like he has a better presence, and he has a more monstrous presence and appetite, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get what you're saying, yeah.
Like, to me, this is what the book Dracula is. Sophisticated when he needs to be, but an absolute animal when he wants to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I see your point.
But Lugosi has a much better stare. Like, you see Lugosi's Dracula staring at you, and you don't mess with this guy.
Yeah, you're in trouble if you see that.
You're probably dinner.
Mm-hmm.
With Lee, there's not really so much a stare as him snarling at you, wanting to rip your throat out. Which, to be fair, he's going to do that, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true.
Overall, this is a perfectly fine movie. As an adaptation, it falls a bit flat, but still, I have a great time with this movie.
Yeah, I did too.
Next we have Hammer's first attempt, or not really attempt, their first try at the Frankenstein mythos. So, Hammer's Frankenstein. I told you before we watched this movie that I feel like this was a more accurate adaptation of the book than the first Universal attempt. What did you think?
Maybe. Yeah. I guess so. Yeah, I think you're right.
Because, I mean, it's kind of vague how Frankenstein actually creates the monster in the book, but, like, he's kind of gotten the body parts from somewhere.
Yeah. It's been a while, but I think it does mention where he gets them, if I'm not mistaken.
I suppose it also depends on which version you're reading.
Maybe.
Anyway, this movie is once again directed by Terrance Fisher. Hammer must have loved this guy because he's hold on, I'm just gonna check the IMDb pages for the other movies. He directs every single one of these.
Wow. All right. Interesting.
I mean, he does good work.
Yeah.
So I can't blame them for always using him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So once again, this movie stars Peter Cushing. We're going to hear this a few more times.
Oh, yeah.
As Victor Frankenstein. They actually used Victor this time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not Henry.
Yeah. That was weird.
Hazel Court as his fiancée Elizabeth. And cousin.
Yeah. Fun fact, they're only cousins in the first version of the Frankenstein book. In the third version of Frankenstein that Mary Shelley wrote, which is the first one I read, they are not related.
Although, isn't she kind of taken in by his family?
Yeah, they basically adopt her, so it's still weird.
So it's kind of like...
But they're not related.
So it's kind of like Barry and Iris on the Flash TV show.
I have no idea, babe.
Basically, after Barry's mom died and his dad was sent to prison for it, he got basically adopted by Iris's dad, and they grew up together, and then eventually Barry and Iris got married.
Yeah, like that.
All right. No one really talks about how weird that is on the show.
No.
Like, there was this point when they in their wedding episode where the usher at the wedding asked Joe, Iris's dad, "Are you bride or groom?" And he says, "Both."
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is a little weird, but...
And she just looks at him like, Alabama?
They're not related, so it's okay.
No. We got off topic really fast.
You got off topic.
I'm bringing you into this.
Whatever.
We're not 3 minutes in, and I'm already getting off topic. Anyways, Robert Urquhart plays Paul Kremp, his mentor. He's the one who looks after him after his parents have died. Sort of the Dr. Waldman, I guess, from the Universal version. Christopher Lee is here as the creature.
Yeah, he does a good job.
He plays a more book-accurate take on the monster, except he still can't talk. Mm-hmm. And he, but he does kill people.
Yes, yep, he sure does.
Let's see. Valerie Gaunt plays Justine, Frankenstein's maid that he's hooking up with.
Yeah, that was definitely not in the book. He does not hook up with Justine in the book.
She asks him if he's gonna marry her, and he just don't be silly.
Yeah.
Paul Hardmuth plays Professor Bernstein, the man from whom Frankenstein gets the brain for the creature.
Yeah, very interesting.
It's a very short scene that he's in, but it's pretty effective nonetheless.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, Hammer's first Frankenstein movie. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I do too. This was the second time I watched it. And yeah, it's one of my favorites of the four.
Yeah, I would have to agree. It's a very it's a different take than Universal is, because throughout the series we focus more on Dr. Frankenstein himself than the monster.
Yeah, and he's like really mean, like meaner than what he is in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kills people. Well, he killed the professor just for his brain.
Well, how else was he gonna get it?
Yeah, there was a lot of murder in this one.
And some rape later on too.
In this movie?
Not in this movie, but like
Okay.
in the series.
Yeah, well, I thought you were talking about this specific movie. I was like, yeah, that.
Well, I said later on.
Okay, well, I thought you meant in the movie.
No, you saw the movie. At one point, did he rape anyone?
That's what I was wondering.
Later on means later on in the series.
Okay, anyways, even though you're using words wrong, continue.
Anyways, yeah, he's a much more villainous character here than he is in the previous version or in the book.
I think so. It has been a while, but I think I didn't get him to be that mean. He at least didn't murder anyone on purpose in the book.
No, but he also doesn't. He has a chance where he's able to absolve the family maid of killing his younger brother, and he doesn't take it because it would make him look bad.
Yeah.
So not necessarily murder, but yeah, still not great.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah, the maid that he's been shacking up with, he tricks her into getting killed by the monster because can't have that going around here while he's trying to marry his wife.
Yeah, well, she says she's pregnant, and so
Was she
he
though?
wants to- yeah, I guess you don't know.
Was
but
she, though?
He just wants to,
She probably
get rid
was.
of her. So he's like, oh, all right, we'll just let the monster kill her.
I mean, he's got the monster. Might as well put him to good work.
May as well use him for murder. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of murder, the monster also kills the blind man in this version.
Yeah, and the little boy.
Did he kill the little boy?
Well, the little boy's pack that he was carrying was on the ground in that one scene, so you're led to assume that he killed him, but you don't see him kill him.
Maybe he did. Maybe he did. I don't know.
Yeah. I think he did.
Maybe the little boy got scared and ran away and just dropped his pack.
I think he did. Monster killed him.
Anyways, but unlike the Universal version, Dr. Frankenstein disappeared after the second movie, unless you count his sons who appeared in Son of Frankenstein and Ghost of Frankenstein. This movie follows Dr. Victor Frankenstein the whole series.
Yeah, it does. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he fakes his death several times because at the end of this movie, he's facing the guillotine.
Yep.
And then we see at the beginning of the first movie, he's escaped somehow.
Somehow.
I mean, it's like, somehow Frankenstein survived. But I believe this a lot more than Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. I guess they probably just really liked Peter Cushing and didn't want to replace him.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Like, in the second movie, I think it was, we literally see him able to switch brains into different bodies.
Yeah.
And he does it to put himself in an identical body to his own.
Yeah, sure.
No, I'm saying that's literally what happens.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, sure, that seems like a possible thing to do. It is just a movie, though, so.
Look, he's bringing dead things back to life.
Yeah.
Switching brains is no biggie to him.
Well, yeah, but especially finding someone who looks exactly like you, like.
Well, he probably made the body.
That still seems hard to make a body that looks just like you.
Look.
Out of parts from different people.
Look, it's a movie. Just go with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't think too much into it.
Plus, again, he brought people back to life.
Well, yeah.
Anyways, Curse of Frankenstein. What else do you have to say?
It was good. Like I said, this is one of my favorites. It had a lot more violence to it. The monster looked pretty scary. It was good. Overall, pretty good.
This wasn't the first time that Cushing and Lee worked together on a movie or were in the same movie together. But this is the first time they actually had screen time together. And this is the first time they met was when Lee was in full monster getup.
Oh yeah, that would make quite an impression. Yeah.
And they had like we just gushed about them before. They had a long and illustrious career together. They were in over 20 movies together, and this was a great start to their on-screen chemistry.
Yeah. It's really good.
Next, we have a movie that I didn't really like too much, Curse of the Werewolf. Now, Curse of the Werewolf. Like I said, I didn't really like this one too much.
Yeah, I can agree with you, which is really disappointing because I was ready to see this movie. I never watched it before, and The Wolfman was one of my favorite monster movies. So, excuse me, sorry. I thought that this one would be a lot better than what it was. Disappointing.
Settle down.
I know, I got the hiccups now.
So, this movie, once again directed by Terrance Fisher, stars Oliver Reed as Leon, who turns into the Wolfman, but he doesn't turn into the Wolfman every full moon. And in fact, he was born with this curse, which I'm fine with that. That's perfectly fine. This movie was actually based on a book, so the author must have decided to shake up the werewolf lore a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's not a change I'm not too particularly upset about. But so this guy, Leon, was a child of rape because his mom was sent to the dungeon of the castle that she was working in because she didn't want to touch the pee-pee of the guy in charge there.
Yeah.
So she got raped by this crazy beggar guy who's been in there for like years.
Yeah.
And she gave birth illegitimately on Christmas Day, so that means God hates this kid and wanted him to become a werewolf. Basically, what the reason why he turns into a werewolf that they say.
Yeah, a little weird.
And so like all that it took me to explain to you, that was like half the movie.
Yeah, it takes forever for the Wolfman to actually appear on screen. It's slow going.
And we don't really get a good look at the Wolfman until like the last 10 or so minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And granted, it's a decent look for him. It's not a bad look for the Wolfman.
Yeah, it's okay makeup.
But that's not the first time we saw the Wolfman. We saw him a couple more times before that, but it was always in the shadow or facing away from the camera.
Yeah, you never saw his face, maybe his hands or feet, but yeah, you never really saw his like top half.
And so he's been living with his, well, sort of aunt and uncle. The people who took in his mother when she was despondent and about to give birth to him. And, they raised him, so that was really nice of them.
The mom died in childbirth is why.
Yeah. Though in the book, like I said, I haven't read the book, she lives and, I guess just abandons Leon there. And eventually Leon rapes her.
What's this book called?
Curse of the Werewolf.
Okay, so yeah, that is odd. That is weird. Okay.
So, yeah, I don't think I'll like this book either.
No, yeah. No.
Although if he's the werewolf more times in the book than he is here, then maybe I will.
Maybe it'll be a little bit more exciting, yeah.
And Oliver Reed doesn't show up until like an hour in.
Who was that?
The Wolfman.
Oh. Yeah, yeah, it was weird.
And this movie's only an hour and a half long.
Yeah, so it's basically over by the time you see the Wolfman. Yeah.
Like he later becomes he gets employment at this wine making or bottling place.
Yeah, something like that.
And he falls for the his boss's daughter, who's engaged to this other guy or married to this other guy. That was kind of unclear.
Just engaged.
Yeah, she's with this other guy, and she's cheating on him with Leon here, which whatever. And then at the same time, he's also going out to brothels and trying to bone other women. So this is not a very sympathetic character.
Yeah, yeah,
And he's
Makes bad decisions.
He's not very interesting either. Like, I don't want to compare this to the Universal one, but I'm going to have to, because Larry Talbot is a much more interesting and sympathetic character.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's with him accidentally peeping on this woman and creeping on her, trying to pressure her into a date too.
Yeah. He's not the best character, but at least he's interesting.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. And of course, Lon Chaney Jr. is amazing as him.
Yeah, definitely.
Which, the problem is not Oliver Reed's performance. He does fine in his role.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, this was his first big role.
I have not seen him in anything else.
Yes, you have.
Oh, what?
He was Bill Sykes in Oliver.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that I shouldn't say.
What?
Whenever I was in grade school, I watched Oliver, and I had a thing for Bill Sykes. I know. But that makes sense, because I thought he was handsome in this movie.
You absolute degenerate.
I know.
You absolute disgusting girl.
I was so confused. I was so young. I didn't know.
What's wrong with you?
I know.
He was also Proximo in Gladiator.
I was about to say I haven't seen that, but I have seen that.
You have.
I just don't remember his character.
He was the Gladiator trainer.
Okay.
Yeah. He actually died in the middle of that movie's filming.
Oh.
So they had to recreate him for like one last scene using CG.
Oh, all right.
I mean, for the time, it was passable.
I didn't notice.
Well, this movie was made in '99, so the act of recreating someone using CGI was basically non-existent.
Yeah, I would say so. That's, pretty long time ago.
Like, they had to spend over $1 million to do it.
Oh boy, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, and honestly, he's really good in that movie too.
Yeah, that movie is really good.
Point is, the problem is not Oliver Reed. He was a fine actor, and he did great work. He was a very talented man. This movie was just crap.
Yeah, it was. I found myself looking at my phone a lot of the time, which is never a good sign. Yeah, it was just disappointing. I wanted to see more Wolfman on the screen. I didn't get to see the Wolfman until it was like almost over, and yeah.
Yeah, we see him as the Wolfman for like 5 minutes, and he gets shot by his uncle, and then the movie's over.
Yep. Basically.
Like, this movie was just not very fun to get through. I almost fell asleep a few times. That should tell you something.
Mm-hmm. I think it was The Mummy. I almost fell asleep, but that wasn't because of the movie. That was just because I was really tired.
I mean, same thing for Curse of Frankenstein, but I was also wearing my very soft robe. I was very cozy.
Yeah, I understand.
So also I was very warm, so I was just struggling. But that wasn't due to the movie. That was due to nice comfy robe.
Yeah, but Curse of the Werewolf was a little.
It was the
boring.
movie.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully our next Wolfman movie isn't so boring. We're going to be looking at the 2010 or 2011 version starring Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
We probably should be watching the version from the 90s that starred Jack Nicholson, but I actually own the Benicio del Toro Wolfman, so we're going to watch that one.
All right, fair enough.
Although I do want to watch the Jack Nicholson one at some point.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Any closing remarks on Curse of the Werewolf?
Just disappointing. I like the Wolfman
bad.
so much better, yeah.
It's not our thing. Maybe it'll be yours, but...
Yeah, you never know. You could like it.
I mean, if you end up liking it, then...
More power
cool.
to you, yeah, good.
It's just not our thing.
Yeah, not for me.
If I'm ever putting it on again, it'll be so that I can fall asleep.
Yeah, background noise.
It's not a fun time. So, next we have our last movie in this little collection, the 1959 version of The Mummy.
The Mummy! I don't want to...
So, The Mummy. This is the last movie in our collection that was directed by Terrance Fisher. Because he did all of them.
Yes.
And it also starred, of course, Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. Peter Cushing playing John Banning, an archaeologist who is digging up the tombs in Egypt. Christopher Lee playing the Mummy, of course. Yvonne Furneaux plays Isabel Banning, John's wife. And also she plays the Princess Ananka, the girlfriend of the mummy Karis, who we'll get into that a little bit later. Felix Aylmer plays Stephen Banning, John's father. Raymond Huntley plays Joseph Wemple, his uncle. George Pastel plays Mehmet Bey, the Egyptian bad guy in this movie. And that's about it. Now, one thing we neglected to mention in our review of the 1932 version of The Mummy is that the name that Imhotep goes by, Ardith Bey, would later be used as the name of a character in the 1999 version of The Mummy, played by Oded Fehr.
Yeah. Completely different characters, for sure.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. The only thing they share is a name.
Yep. So, this version of The Mummy, here, John Banning and his father and uncle are on an expedition in Egypt, and they come across the tomb of the mummy princess Ananka, she died and was buried outside of Egypt as they were coming home from a campaign or something or another. And after she died, the high priest Karis tried to raise her from the dead, but ended up being mummified alive himself.
That's what you get for trying to raise the dead. I mean, you know.
The same thing sort of happened in the sequels to the 1932 version of The Mummy. That was a completely different story following the mummy Karis. Same basic thing happened to him. So yeah, this version of The Mummy is taking after those ones instead of the Imhotep story.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. I guess it really doesn't matter which one you go with.
Nah. As long as the story's good.
So, this is the first time you watched this. What did you think?
Yeah, you know, it was pretty good. I liked the mummy. Christopher Lee did a good job at portraying a big spooky guy. He does pretty good at that.
He does that a lot.
Yep.
Well, the man was over 6 feet tall.
Yeah, it's pretty tall.
And and at one point he was one of the at least top 3 tallest actors in Hollywood.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
He's up there with Vince Vaughn.
How tall is Christopher Lee?
Well, he's dead.
How tall was Christopher Lee?
He was like 6'5".
You know what I meant, man. That's pretty tall.
He was like 6'5", yeah. He did lose a bit of height due to getting old.
That happens.
I mean, the man was in his 90s when he died.
Long life, yeah.
So yeah, and the man served in the military during World War II. He worked with British intelligence. And there's a famous story that I probably should save this for when we cover the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but I'm going to say it now, and I'm going to say it then too.
Okay.
In the extended edition of Return of the King, when Saruman was being killed by Grima Wormtongue, Peter Jackson wanted Lee to make more noises when he was getting stabbed in the back, and Lee said, "That's not that's not the sounds a man makes when he's stabbed in the back." And the reason why he knew that was because he did that to people in the war.
Man, that's crazy.
Christopher Lee was so cool, man.
Yeah, really cool.
Like I could just talk for days about how much I love Christopher Lee and all the interesting things he got up to. Like he witnessed the last execution by guillotine in France.
That's pretty awesome.
It was in the 70s.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't very long ago.
He is the only cast member of The Lord of the Rings to have met J.R.R. Tolkien.
Pretty cool, again.
He met him in a bar, and he said he felt like kneeling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
at least once a year, he would read the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
That would be hard, man.
And
I love reading, but Lord of the Rings. I also love the Lord of the Rings, but you know my feelings on the Lord of the Rings.
he was related by marriage to Ian Fleming, the creator of James Bond.
Mm-hmm. Fun.
And he played a James Bond villain in The Man with the Golden Gun, Francisco Scaramanga.
I've not seen that one.
It's pretty fun. He was he was wanted by Fleming to play the villain Dr. No in the movie of the same name. He was also directly descended from Charlemagne, an ancient medieval king who, I don't know absolutely everything about him, but he was a pretty important dude.
Man, all my ancestors were nobodies.
That's okay. One of them made penis cookies.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, where were we? Oh, yeah, The Mummy.
The Mummy.
I got off topic talking about Christopher Lee, but at least this time my off topic rantings were tangentially related.
Yes, somewhat. Good job. Proud of you.
Oh, sorry. Just one more thing.
Okay.
He actually got permission to marry into royalty.
Who'd he marry?
It was supposed to be a princess of some other country. I forgot which one it was, but somewhere in Europe. He got permission from the king to do it, but he decided not to because he didn't want her to have the shame of being married to an actor.
Oh. I would have done it.
Plus, he spoke like 5 or 6 different languages.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's a cool guy, for sure.
Heck yeah. Anyways, The Mummy. If we're talking just based off of technical achievements and all that, I think this is the best Mummy movie there has been. Like ever.
I don't... With technical stuff?
But just going off of the film quality.
Oh.
Like, if we're talking which one I like the most, it's going to be the 99 version.
Yeah, that's hard for me to judge because I don't really know much about movies technical-wise. But in my humble opinion, there's not going to be a better Mummy movie than the 1999 one.
I mean, ask me which one I would prefer to watch.
Yeah.
It's going to be the 99 version. But just based off of, film snobbery and all that crap, it's this one.
Yeah, I can't have an opinion with that because I don't know. My own opinion gets in the way, and I'm like, yeah, no. 1999, please.
So, well, we really haven't talked a whole lot about this one.
No, like I said, I dozed off a little. So there are parts in the middle that I don't quite remember. But that does not mean the movie was boring. That just means I was tired.
So basically, in this one, the Egyptian guy that I mentioned, he doesn't want British people to be breaking into his country's tombs and stealing all their stuff, which...
Fair enough. I mean...
They have a whole museum of them doing exactly that, which, I mean,
Yeah.
we shouldn't talk either, because there's countless museums across the U.S. where they did exactly that.
Yeah, but,
Plus, Hobby Lobby was kind of in the middle of a controversy over that sort of thing, where
that was weird. That's wild.
where like they were caught smuggling artifacts from Iraq and stuff.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, that's strange.
So, like, we shouldn't talk, but you know what? I'm gonna make fun of the British because I can.
Yeah. That's what
being American is.
Yeah. You got to.
You know, he's upset at British archaeologists for desecrating tombs, but on the flip side, Banning is making the argument that if they hadn't, been exploring and excavating these tombs, then a lot of Egypt's history would be lost to time, and so by doing this, they're preserving it. So both sides really have a good point there.
That is a good point.
So, so the reason why this mummy is unleashed is because Banning's dad removed the scroll, which brought the mummy back. That was a little weird.
Yeah. It opened the door and he was just brought back to life. There was he read the spell too.
That too, yeah.
I forgot about that.
That's
He
true.
did read the scroll.
He did do that, but like just the, and then after that, the mummy was set on all of them, but Banning's wife is the reincarnation of Ananka, so whenever the mummy sees her while he was trying to strangle Banning, he stopped and left.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, I'm gonna leave now.
Yeah. He listens to her over the bad guy because he loves her.
Simp.
Yeah.
And yeah, overall, this is a really fun movie. I personally enjoyed it. Maybe not as much as I used to, but I do really like it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I thought it was fun. The mummy was scary. Whenever he climbs into the window on the asylum, or
Yeah, because Banning's dad gets put in the nut house after he sees a mummy come back to life and try to kill him.
Yeah, and the mummy's sneaking in the door, and he's wet. Well, he's muddy and gross, and he's scary looking, honestly.
Yeah, he's a really intimidating mummy. He's a bit more so than Karloff, which is really crazy to think, because Karloff had that magnetic stare when he was out of the bandages.
Yeah, Karloff kind of played more of the creepy, creepy, spooky, but Christopher Lee is more of the intimidating, I'm gonna beat you, yeah, something like that.
And then Arnold Vosloo played a really gross-looking mummy.
Yeah.
Who gave me nightmares as a kid.
Not me. I didn't have nightmares. Mummy didn't give me nightmares.
No, but E.T. did.
No, that was a true dream. I mean, it was a true... E.T. was in my room when I was a child. That was not a dream.
You realize how weird that sounds,
yeah,
right?
But it wasn't a nightmare either.
Yeah, but you thought E.T. was in your room.
Yeah, but it was a good dream. It was a good, real thing that happened. That's what I meant to say. You're getting off topic.
Have you seen this show?
I've heard. Yes. No, yeah.
I love you.
Thank you. Love you too, I guess.
Anyways, do we have any closing remarks?
Do you want to rank the movies?
Yeah, let's do that. Hammer for me, worst to best. Curse of the Werewolf at the bottom. It's not great. Then Horror of Dracula. Then The Mummy. Then Curse of Frankenstein.
That mine is exactly the same.
Oh,
yeah, that's
cool.
exactly how I was going to rank them. So,
okay.
Nice.
Okay. What about all the movies we've done so far? How would you rank those?
Curse of Wolfman.
Yeah, that'd be at the bottom for me too.
Is it Curse of the Wolfman or Curse of the Werewolf?
Curse of the Werewolf.
Okay, Curse of the Werewolf. I wasn't prepared to do this. I thought we were just ranking those four, so this is kind of throwing me off. I think the Wolfman would still be on top for me, and maybe underneath that, the Frankenstein Hammer one. And everyone else, I don't really know. I can't really think right now to rank them. They all fall in there somewhere.
How about we just do a full ranking at the end?
Yes, because then I could better prepare myself. So yes, we'll do it then.
Yeah, for me, Curse of the Werewolf would definitely still be at the bottom, but the top is going to be Curse of Frankenstein.
It's Wolfman for me right now.
Wolfman is... Yeah, between that and Hammer Mummy, it's kind of hard to determine second place so far.
Yeah.
But basically, 7/8 of these movies I like.
Yeah, me too.
So we'll catch you next time with the more modern interpretations, where we're going to be looking at Bram Stoker's Dracula, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, The Wolfman, starring Benicio del Toro. I don't know the director's name. right now off the top of my head.
I haven't seen it. I think that's the only one I haven't seen out of those movies we'll be watching. So I'm excited.
And The Mummy, 1999. I know we've already talked about this movie on the show, but I want to watch it again. I guess we could have talked about the 2017 version of The Mummy, but
I don't want to watch that one.
I don't either.
Yeah.
So let's just watch Mummy 99 again.
Yes, please.
We'll catch you next time.
See you next time.